Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Live With It. This is the show where the DTNS family of folks lives with a gadget, a service, a product over a long enough period of time that we feel like we have an honest review, and we want to share that review with you. The good, the bad, the ugly. We've got it all, and it really runs the gamut. You never know what you're going to get on Live With It. What you do know you're going to get is me, Sarah Lane. Today, I've got a few folks. Roger Chang, Tom Merritt, and Joe Kuntz joining me.
Where's
Hello,
Joe?
Gentlemen.
I don't see Joe.
I don't see him.
Oh, there he is. Joe refuses to be on camera. So if you're watching the video version of this, just imagine Joe. How should they imagine you, Joe?
As a spider monkey.
Those who are familiar with a variety of DTNS shows know that Joe does a lot of stuff behind the scenes, doesn't want to be on camera. That's okay. You can listen to him. He's going to have good advice in all respects. Okay, so Tom, what are we reviewing today?
So we are reviewing a service called Opus Clips. Opus AI is a service that provides you the ability to get AI-generated clips of your video. So it's not generating the video. It's looking at your video and saying, ooh, this is the most interesting part. This is a nice little 30-second chunk. And you can put in a prompt that says, look for these kinds of sections. Maybe you have like a 2-hour-long show, right? And you're like, I just want the section where we talk about the Constitution or whatever it is. It starts at $15 a month to give you 150 credits. So you get a few credits for each one of the clips you generate. The pro version is $29 a month or $14.50 a month if you pay for a year at a time. That gives you 3,600 credits across a year. And also, it's what we do because you get 2 seats for the team. So 2 people can be logged in using it at the same time. And then there's the business version that doesn't have prices. So I guess if you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Now, you mentioned something like, clip out where we talked about the Constitution. So it's obviously analyzing audio. Does it also analyze, like, remember, the part where Sarah started juggling silently? Like, is it also analyzing video?
Yeah. It's looking at the video too, because you can say, find me the most interesting part of this video, and it's going to try to find a dynamic part of the video. So it's doing both audio and video. And one of the things that it bills itself as being best at is figuring out, like, these are the kind of clips that people tend to watch on Shorts, TikTok, Instagram stories. So they give it a virality score and then order them up for you.
And from, obviously those of us who are using OpusClip on a regular basis, do we find that what it is choosing is actually resonating with the audience? Because obviously that's the important part of it.
Yeah, yes and no. I think it does a good job of narrowing it down for you. I don't think I would take that score as gospel truth of like, well, if it says 99, that is the one that's going to do the best. It's making its best guess. It doesn't know your audience specifically. It just kind of generally knows what seems to do well. It can be connected to your channels and then use your performance to get better at recommending things for you over time. But I don't know. We can let Roger and Joe chime in on how good they are, how good they think it is at that.
Yeah. So, I mean, Roger, I know a lot of people listening to this could be familiar with the whole dynamic ad insertion, right? And I'm just talking audio at this point, which is very hit and miss in my experience. It's like you might take a pause, you might, I don't know, waiting for a sneeze, whatever. And it's like, oh, that's when they stopped. Time to put an ad in. And it actually ends up being in a really strange place. So with OpusClip, what is your experience?
So my main use with OpusClip is with captioning specifically, because captioning is something I used to do by hand. It would take me at least 45 minutes. Captioning with OpusClip is a revelation. Like, if I were to have a religious experience to describe a product, that would be it. It literally took something that took me 45 minutes and it's shrunk it down to 12. Because I no longer have to not just figure out what's saying, because I can cut and paste in the script and then just kind of chisel away if there are extra words or words left out. But it's making it all fit in one line repeatedly instead of having it fold over, like basically adjusting the margins as well as making sure I spelled everything correctly. And it's really been a time saver. Like for something that I used to hate doing, it's turned it into sort of a side, I don't want to say not side note, but it's like 10 minutes. Like
You
done.
offloaded one of your least favorite tasks to something that
Exactly.
works well.
Yes. And it is, it does have its quirks. And, I will say that it took me a couple of tries to kind of figure out the best way to implement what I wanted to do. But once you get it there, you can have it templated, and then it becomes just sort of a muscle memory. It's not just, other than making sure it spelled certain things correctly. For example, when Tom said DTNS one time, it came out as DT ampersand S, and then I had to go in and edit out the ampersand and put the N in to make it correct. But it's those sorts of issues are few and far between. It's really good. Like I was very skeptical at how well it would caption words, especially because we use a lot of techno jargon that comes into play, and it's pretty on point.
And Joe, what about you?
Used it mostly as I've got an hour or 2 hour thing that I've got to find clips for, dump the file in there and go, okay, give me something to work with. It's like a starting point of, okay, that section works. I don't really like the way it edited it. Either it's too jumpy or whatever, but I'm like, okay, I can take that part of that little chunk and take it into Premiere and make a short out of it for me. So it really kind of helps more of a starting point than it is an end point for me. But there have been clips that I put in there and I'm like, oh, that's 99. I'll go to maybe, because it'll give you a percentage of this is a plus or a 90%, centile. It'll work. And I'll scrub down to ones that are a little lower and go, I like that idea better. But it gave me a point to start from. So that's helpful.
And Tom, I know Roger and Joe do a lot of stuff on the back end, behind the scenes, but in your experience, do you find that it has helped your workflow?
Yeah, I've kind of fallen away from using it, mostly because I've fallen away from doing a lot of the shorts publishing myself. But for a while, I was just wanting to identify segments and publish them. So I was doing this. I was using it the same way that Roger and Joe have been using it, which is narrowing it down, finding that clip where like, oh, that's the clip that is a good representation. And then, yeah, maybe I need to adjust it a little. The editing process in OpusClip is available. It's not the best. I think that's why Joe takes it to another machine, because you just get a lot more control that way. Mm-hmm. And also the resolution can get degraded if you're using the clip that went into Opus and got processed. So it might be better to pull it out. But like Roger said, the captioning is spot on. I think it messed up Wen Toy Dao's name one time, called her like Megan something. I'm like, I don't even know where it got that. But 99% of the time, the captioning is spot on. So it's good for all that stuff.
So it sounds like just saving work that isn't your favorite, and certainly saving time, which we all, hard to argue with that, sounds like it's been working well. Let's talk about the price and if we feel like the price is fair.
I mean, I think the fact, I don't know, Roger, have you returned a video? Because you can actually get your credits back sometimes.
You can return video as long as you don't download it. Like if you go through the process and you don't, like downloading,
it's
I
like
guess
returning
is
a shirt as long as the price tag is still in there.
Yeah, exactly. And I did it for one because I clipped out the wrong thing. Like I when I read the email, I thought it was one thing, and then it got turned around in my head, and I clipped out the wrong thing. And I was able to return it, and I got the tokens back. This is the thing: if you do this as part of your job, and it's a very big portion of it, like you have to do it daily. I don't think it's actually I don't think it's a bad a spend of money if you're within, you say like you're doing $25 or $30 a month but you're constantly every day you're making shorts for your job, whether it's like a website or a media site or whatever. It saves you a lot of time. It really freed me up from a lot of the kind of rote stuff, because once you get in there, it just becomes part of the process, right?
And you can publish from within OpusClips. Like you can connect it to all of your platforms and say, push this out. It will create the description for you, and it will try to create it in a manner that is best suited for the platform. So the TikTok description will be different than the Stories description, which is different than the YouTube Shorts description. So yeah, I think for $14.50 a month, if you're going to use it a lot, it's worth the price.
Go ahead, Roger.
Oh no, however, I was going to say, if you're someone who wants their shorts to all look unique, you don't want them to look very kind of boilerplate, it's probably not as good for that. Like, this is like if you have a process down and you set everything up the way you want. Yeah, it's great. It's like shoving hamburgers down the grill and you're cooking 20 of them at a time. But if you need to like make it a little more unique, a little more
special hamburger,
a special bespoke burger each and every time, it's probably not the thing for you, because I will say, for example, with the captioning, your options are very limited in the styling and the way it looks. It's not that they look bad. It's just like, it's going to look, I can tell when another podcast uses it on YouTube, because it's like, oh, they used OpusClip, because I can tell, because they used whatever template.
And that's not a bad thing necessarily.
It's not a bad thing.
It's just that you use it so you can sniff it out.
You can sniff it out, but if you watch enough clips, like if you just constantly like, oh, they must be using this, they must be using that. If that doesn't bother you, that's great. But just understand your sort of capacity to be creative in that way is a little limited. Also, as Tom mentioned, the editing tools in it are kind of clunky, not just for the video but for actual text editing. You can, when you edit text, you can not only change the spelling, but you can change the highlighting. So if you want certain words to highlight a different color, you can do that. But when you do it, it's kind of tedious. Like, and you just sort of start selecting the ones you think are the most useful, and then you sort of like, okay, the rest is fine.
This does seem like, especially since, whenever I'm looking at job descriptions for somebody who's a video editor or producer or, some combination of both, more and more often, the job requires that person to be, on top of social sharing. And I think a lot of people kind of go like, I know how to technically do a lot of things, but that stuff is not really my forte. This feels like a tool that maybe it's not the only thing you have to have in your back pocket, but something that can definitely, allow you to say with a lot more confidence, yeah, I can do that. All right, so as we wrap up this episode of Live With It, as we do on every episode, Tom, Roger, Joe, everybody weigh in. Do we keep using OpusClip? Is it worth it?
I think it's worth it. The value proposition really lies with Tom, because he's the one paying for it. But it definitely, I feel that it definitely does smooth out the process, and it does take out a lot of the tedium that sometimes leads to mistakes, like misspellings or perhaps the wrong word. I can now just copy edit what it wrote and then fix that, rather than writing it and then going back and copy editing myself. And if you ever do that, you realize sometimes you miss stuff because you're still inserting the same phantom word that you thought this is the right way, but it's wrong because your head's still in the same space.
Isn't it funny how once upon a time we just didn't have captions on videos?
Yeah.
You just listened to it or you didn't. And now it's like, it's just, if you don't have them, it's asking too much of the audience.
Yeah, it's great for accessibility as well as just general usability, both.
It's that, and for a lot of content creators where English isn't their first language, I've seen, especially a lot of them coming out of Korea and Japan, South Korea and Japan, a lot of that content is subtitled in whatever language, typically English, but they also do Spanish and French for their audience that they obviously have, because they're catering to them. And it's great because it allows you to do something that might have been a little more difficult before.
Yeah. I'll chime in on Roger's side and say I will let it live. I will live with it for a bit longer. I probably need to get back in and poke around with it a little more. But honestly, Roger making as much use of it as he has means I think it's been worth it for us.
And Joe, disembodied Joe, what are your thoughts? Are you yay or nay on this?
I'm a yay on it. I think it does bring value to it if you're trying to kind of condense things or at least give you a starting point. I still like to do it in Premiere because I have all my templates and everything already preset in there. But I do think it's a good product for someone who needs to put out either a ton of product or something that's consistently every day you got to put something out. It can save you some time. I agree with that.
Well, saving time is good. If anybody out there has experience using OpusClip, good or bad, we would love to hear from you. But that is it for this episode of Live With It. I think across the board, everybody's pretty positive on OpusClip. If you have comments, if you have suggestions, want us to review something on an upcoming episode of Live With It, send all of those thoughts over to feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. And if you enjoy our show, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a coworker. We all know somebody who's kind of eyeing a product, and we might be able to help them out. And consider supporting us on Patreon as well. That is how we are able to give this show to you week after week. Check out patreon.com/DTNS to learn more. I'm Sarah Lane. You've been living with it, and we'll talk to you next week.